All right, everyone, welcome back to Here's My Take. I'm happy you're with me. As I promised you all, if you've been following the series, The Church Tried to Kill Me, parts one, two, three, and four, I promised you all that I was going to do a fifth video. And this fifth video is going to be the final video that I'm going to do with this series because I want to move on to other things. If you don't know what I'm talking about, or if you don't remember some of the details of this story, please go back and watch um, series one, two, three, and four, and then you can come back and you can watch this one here. I'm not going to recap everything that I have talked about because that's going to take a lot of time and I don't want to waste your time. Um, I'm just going to recap some of the things leading up to the story that I'm going to tell. Okay. Boom. I was leaving a church, right? And you all know the story if you've heard of it. I was leaving the church and I was in contact with certain people as I was leaving the church and being sure that I was leaving this particular organization the right way. This person comes in who I'll call my friend is because not only were we good friends, but he also was a leader in this church. And as a leader, he was someone I would say kind of like I had to report to. I'll just say that like he was kind of like someone I had to report to. So in the church context, I was submitted to him. Even though he was my friend, I was still submitted to him in a church context. So as I'm leaving, of course, if that's the case, if I'm leaving the church, then he's someone who I have to talk to. When I would talk to him about my experiences of what I was going through, he would be very dismissive about what I was experiencing. Yeah, it was, I was either, it was almost like I was either exaggerating or what I was going through was my fault, right? Or I kind of deserved what was happening to me. And so he really wasn't being a friend to me, which was very surprising because it was surprising to me because I ain't do nothing to him. At least I didn't think so. I didn't think I had done anything to him. I didn't offend him in any kind of way. I wasn't talking about him behind his back. It wasn't anything that I could put my finger on to say, well, why is he treating me the way he's treating me? It occurred to me later why he was treating me the way he was treating me. But at that point, I didn't know. I had no clue. As he would, just kind of, like I said, just be dismissive. And I was hurting, already hurting because of what I was going through. I felt like he was hurting me even more by being so dismissive. What I decided to do was I decided to stop talking to him about what I was experiencing. Now, that doesn't mean that I stopped being his friend, okay? But I did stop talking to him about what I was going through in the church because I didn't need what he was giving to me. What I needed was my friend, and I didn't have one. I thought I did, but I didn't. So, fast forward. there in the other video I explained this, but I find out that we're not being covered. We're not being protected. This transition that I think is supposed to be happening where I'm waiting on my pastor to give us direction and guidance is not going to come. Like the whole purpose of drawing this process out was to break us, to shatter us, to damage us, right? That was the whole purpose of it. And so when I found out that that was the purpose, then I left. I submitted a letter to the I submitted a letter to the office. I turned my keys in and I just left because I'm doing my part. You guys aren't doing yours, right? I've already done as far as protocol goes. I've already followed protocol. I've done things decently and orderly, even though that scripture is taken out of context. But I've done things decently and orderly. And you guys aren't doing what you're supposed to be doing. Okay. Now, even though I'm gone, from this place, it doesn't mean that I'm not still there. What do I mean by that? Stuff always have a way of getting back to you. Like you always, even if you, and this is why you have to be careful about what you say about certain, what you say um, to certain people or about certain people, because things have a tendency to always get back to them. Always remember that. If you're going to talk about somebody and you don't want them to know what you said, it's one thing if you don't care about them knowing. Something completely different if you don't want them knowing. Oh, it's going to get back to them some kind of way. So things were getting back to me. We had this agreement because this agreement was that we would take Wednesdays because at that church, Bible study was on Wednesdays. So we would take Wednesdays. Um, he would teach one Wednesday and I would teach one Wednesday. He would teach one Wednesday and I would teach one Wednesday. And I was appreciative of that because I was doing a lot. I was taking on a lot. I had a lot of responsibility and didn't get a lot of reward for it. Wasn't getting paid. Wasn't getting an honorarium. I didn't get anything. Right. Picking kids up, bringing them to church. That costs that. I mean, that's gas. That's gas, man. I didn't get anything, and I was, working 2 jobs and everything. So I mean, and I was in school, um, and it was difficult. So he agreed to take a Wednesday night. I taught on Wednesday night. So I left on. It may have been a Monday or a Tuesday. It could have been a Tuesday. I'm not sure. Um, but anyways, my father was a deacon at this church. And so there was a meeting called by the senior pastors. And the meeting was for the pastors and the elders. The deacons weren't invited. Right? I wonder why. I wonder why the deacons were not invited. I mean, they're leaders of the church too, but they weren't invited. Um, and I mean, this meeting was a meeting to tell the leaders that my wife and I left the church, and we don't. I mean, I don't know what was said in that meeting, but I'm pretty sure that in that meeting it was like, oh yeah, they're gone, they're out of here, right? And it's probably at this moment and in this time they were finally going, yes, our plan is beginning to work. Now we can just tell people whatever we want to tell them and make them look like they just up and they left and they didn't try to do everything in their power to leave appropriately. We'll just cause everybody to think they just got up and they left. It's Wednesday. I'm not there. It's about 6 or 6:30. Church starts at 7. And this guy I call my friend, he texts me and he says, "Hey, yo, you teaching tonight, right?" Now, I'm not supposed to know they already had a meeting, right? This is what you call somebody playing in your face. Y'all remember it's an episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where Will and Carlton are playing strip poker at these young ladies' house, I mean their apartment. And then the boyfriend, the 6'3", 300-pound boyfriend walks in and they have to go and hide in the closet. And then he falls asleep on the couch, but he's sitting on their clothes. And they come out the closet. They try to gently pull their pants and their shirt out from underneath this big man. But then he wakes up and then and then they start going like this. It's like, you are sleepy. Right. And then the guy's like, stop that. He's like, yo, I see you. I can see you. You are asleep. You're not fooling me. Stop that. Stop playing in my face. So right now, this person I call my friend is playing in my face. He's going, you don't know what I'm doing. I'm deceiving and manipulating you. I'm going to see if you're going to tell me the truth. I'm going to see if you're going to tell me the truth. And I'm like, and so I see this text come through and I'm like, okay, so I know why he's texting. Instead of saying, hey, yo, bro, hey, man, I just heard you left the church. Is that true? Right? Man to man, brother to brother. And I would have told him, yeah, I did. But because this dude don't have no respect for me, or he didn't, um, he goes, like I'm his kid, right? Hey, man, you got something you want to tell me? No. I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead of the story. But he goes, hey, yeah, you come with a Bible study tonight. And I say, no. And he goes, I mean, it's your night, but it's your night though. Right. You can see the attitude coming through the text. It's your night though. And I said, I'm unavailable. How you gonna be unavailable when we had an agreement, right? So he's playing this game with me and I'm playing right along with him because you didn't already show me you don't care nothing about me. I didn't already told you. I didn't already told you, but you didn't want to listen to me. So now the courtesy you would have gotten has now been revoked. I'm not going to give you the courtesy that I would have given you. So here we go. Yo, I mean, I thought you were. And I said this. I said, how about you get so and so to do it? And I said a very specific name, a very specific name. I'm not going to say what the name is. I said, once you get that person to do it, and he goes, that person has never done anything with the youth ministry. Why would I get them to come and teach Bible study? And I was like, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. That person has never done anything. Why would I get them to come and teach? You're about to find out. So then eventually, because I'm not giving in to this game of his, he goes, why didn't you just tell me you left the church? He goes, it seems like you're upset. And I don't think it has anything to do with me. And I was like, yes, it does. Right. How can you be so oblivious? How can you be that oblivious to the fact that I was talking to you about what was going on? You come texting me with these games, and now you think you're not the problem? You are a part of the problem, sir. That was in December. I didn't speak to that man for 6 months. A good friend of mine. We were cool. He was a part of some very important events in my life. Now we're like estranged. Okay. Um, didn't hear from 6 months. So remember, information is still getting back to me. I don't be asking for stuff. Stuff's just people just tell me stuff. I'm minding my business. I'm trying to keep my head above waters. I'm trying to stay sane, bro. Right? I'm trying to stay sane. I'm trying to go. I'm like, God, I think I thought I heard you right, but it's kind of crazy and volatile. So one day it gets back to me that this person who I said, why don't you get so and so to go and do it? Because so and so was talking mad dirty about me and my wife, right? He didn't know that. I knew that. So I'm like, get that person to do it. And he goes, why should I do that? So it gets back to me that this person so greatly disrespected him. I mean, I ain't gonna say what happened, but they disrespected him deeply. And me knowing him, I know he was livid. No, you know what? I'm gonna tell you exactly what they did. They cussed him out. They cussed him straight out in the hallway of the church, so loud that the entire congregation could hear it inside. Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened. Let me take a drink. And before they cussed him out, they went to the back because he was back there with the youth. They said, "Hey, why don't you step outside? I gotta talk to the kids." It's like they were like, "What? Get out!" Right? Now, this is a grown man with a house, kids, a wife. You know what I'm saying? Like grown man. You're talking to him like a kid. Like, bruh. Well, this person feels empowered to do that because one of the leaders of the church told them to go back there and do that. So this person feels empowered to go back there and disrespect another pastor of the church. And they did. Get out. And then when my old friend tried to confront them about what happened, they cussed them out. It's like, this is what's being told to me. Now, it's amusing, but it's also heartbreaking at the same time because I'm like, yo, that's. But remember when I had that text exchange with him? You know, one of the things he tried to tell me? He tried to tell me, look, bro, you got to do things in order. This is, he's texting me this, but I'm thinking like, this is how he sounds. Yo, man, it's a right way to do everything. Yo, you got to do everything in order. And you know what I said to him? I text him back. I said, bro, this church ain't got no order. You holding me to something that doesn't exist. And he was really upset that I said that because he was like, Pastor would never. And here he is getting cussed out of the church. They would never, huh? Finding out, I guess. That was maybe 3 months after we didn't speak. So I can almost guarantee he was like, yo, what's going on? There are some other things that were happening as well. Um, because people are having to save face because I was all right. I know it's not good to boast in yourself, but I'm telling you the truth. I did my thing. Like any person that I work with, they love working with me because I am a responsible person. I be on my business. I do what I have to do. You don't have to talk to me because it's going to get done and it's going to get done well. So people who do have responsibility don't really have to take care of responsibility because I'm already taking care of it. And listen, I'm the kind of person, and I'm sure that there are other people like this in life where their presence isn't really valued until they're gone. Because some people are graced to do things, and it looks easy when they're doing it until either you have to find somebody else to do it. And listen, when I say this, I'm not saying that I can't be replaced because I can be. I've been replaced several times. Right? No one. I mean, like there's this debate right now on on TikTok about we're done with the 90s, right? Now they try to replace Jordan. Look, you can be replaced. I'm not saying that I can't be replaced. I'm not saying that I have not been replaced. What I am saying, though, is that I'm the kind of person that once I'm gone, you realize what you had. That's it. You realize how easy I was making things for you. That's it. And that's the situation that he was in. So now he's having to actually work and he hates it because he didn't have to do that before. Not with me. And he has to save face because now the narrative is that that guy right there, me, that's the boogeyman. He didn't do things right. He just left the kids. He just left the parents. He just left the families. He don't care about nobody. And now we all have to get together and protect the kids and protect the families because I don't know what they got going on over there. They're trying to divide the church. They're trying to split the church, right? And they're doing all of this running around. That was the situation. I was told that there was a meeting, a small meeting with my old friend, my pastor. And my friend thought he was going to go in there and tell the pastor about what had happened. He was going to talk to my pastor about how out of order that person was that cussed him out in the hallway. What I was told was my old pastor won't having it. He almost flipped over the table. I was told that them hands came down on that table. He slapped that table. He said, "You're not going to come in here and talk to me about." Whoa. Really? I was told that my friend was so astonished. He was so dismayed. He didn't know what had happened. He leaned back in his chair and he let out this bellow of a laugh because he was just disrespected again. And he was beside himself. And he didn't know what to do. I guarantee you, from that point forward, he went home and he was thinking, yo, I think he was right. It's like, yo, I think that what he was telling me was right. 6 months after we have not been talking. 6 months. Right? Remember, this is getting cussed out is like 3 months in. This meeting is like 3 months in. I get a call from him 6 months later. Hey, yo, what's going on, man? Hey, listen, yo, I was thinking about you and I just wanted to give you a call to see what's up. I'm not supposed to know anything. I don't know that he's been disrespected 2 times in a very vicious way. Not, this ain't no simple disrespect. This is like a total disregard. I mean, if we're going to be honest, it's the kind of disrespect that make you want to fight somebody. Can I be real? It's the kind of disrespect that make you want to say square up. I just heard this yesterday. Square up so we can shoot the fair ones. Because you're not talking to me like that. That's the kind of disrespect that he was facing. Now, I'm not supposed to know anything, right? So I'm very stoic and I'm just like, hey, y'all, what's up? Oh, yeah, okay. Yo, we should hang out sometime. I was like, yeah, man. So I was just calling to see what's up with you. How you doing? Well, I'm cool. You know why I was like that? Because he's still going like this. You don't know what I'm doing. I know exactly what you're doing. You want me to believe that it was just placed on your heart by Holy Spirit to give me a call. And it's not because you didn't have your behind handed to you twice. And now you're going, oh, yo, he was right. So instead of doing me the courtesy of saying, yo, bro, first of all, like this is how you should call somebody after you found out that you're wrong. This is how you do it. Hey, yo, bro, what's going on, man? Hey, man, you got a minute? Yeah, I just need a minute. All right, cool. Hey, yo, look, first of all, I know we haven't spoken in about 6 months. And I first want to start off by saying, hey, man, I apologize for how everything ended. You know, there are some things that have transpired here at the church with me that has opened my eyes to the fact that what you were saying was right. And I just want to ask for your forgiveness, first of all, because I didn't handle things right. That's how you do that. You don't call somebody like nothing ever happened. You don't call somebody like everything's just supposed to miraculously go back to being the same because that's not right. It's disrespectful. And just like you don't want them disrespecting you, you shouldn't be disrespecting me. So guess what? Hung up. Ain't talked to that man for another year. I was done. I was done. I was over it. I was over it. So fast forward a year. So that was June. Fast forward a year and 2 months, actually. No, yeah, yeah. A year and 2 months. I'm just working out in the gym. And I heard the Holy Spirit very clearly say, call him without hesitation. Just like I didn't have any hesitation leaving the church, I didn't have any hesitation of calling him, or I texted him. And I was like, I texted him. I was gracious that he responded. I told him how gracious I was that he responded. I asked if he wanted to meet and sit down and talk because of the kind of relationship that I had with him. That kind of relationship that I had, it deserved a conversation. There are some relationships in your life that they deserve a conversation. They deserve a conclusion. If it's going to be a conclusion, sometimes you can come together and reconcile, right? Sometimes you can do that. But there are some relationships that deserve more than just ghosting each other, cutting things off and never talking to each other again. This was that moment. Things have blown over to the point where, both I and he and I were able to settle ourselves, gain some perspective, and now it was time. So we sat down and we talked. And in that meeting we had, I put everything out on the table. I told him literally everything that was going on and happening. Everything at that time. This is what was going on. That's what was going on. This is what was happening. That's what was happening. And you would think that after everything that happened, that he would take this as an opportunity to be straight up with me. And he didn't. Now he knew he had to say something. So what he did say, yeah, man, I wasn't a good friend. That's what he said. Yeah, man, I was not a good friend. And then he would allude to things like, yeah, man, people in their mouth, people in their mouths, people in their mouths. Basically, people were just talking about us. But I had already known that. That wasn't anything surprising to me. I already knew that. And what's crazy is that people in their mouths, right? But they knew we were cool, and they were comfortable saying stuff in front of you, huh? Mm-mm. It was one time he said, I was sitting down and we were having a meeting, and someone said the youth ministry is always messed up. The youth ministry is always unstable, right? And then he said, and I spoke up because I was like, well, that's not really true because it wasn't true. I mean, this person was just trying to craft a narrative. But I was like, I thought about this afterwards, and I was like, I wonder if he spoke up because he was being implicated as well, right? If you have a relationship with the youth ministry, like you're the person that I'm submitted to. If the youth ministry is unstable, then you have a lot to answer for as well. So did you speak up because you feel like you were being indicted? Is that why you spoke up? Because it's interesting how when it when I, as an individual, was being attacked, I don't think you spoke up. I don't think you had anything to say. So all of this, yeah, I spoke up and I said this, is a ploy to show I'm on your side. But I already know you're not on my side. And even in this moment at this table, you're not on my side because you refuse to be honest with me. And this is the message for tonight. You know those body washes that are 2 in 1. It's good for your hair, good for your body. And whether it's good for your hair and your body, I'm not here to judge that, you know, but it says 2 in 1, right? One of the things that we've learned in church, and it is erroneous, is that forgiveness and reconciliation forgiveness is a 2 in 1 thing. Forgiveness is for forgiveness and it's also for reconciliation. And this is what I mean. If I offend someone, I've done something offensive to them, they are obligated. If they are a Christian, they are obligated to forgive me. I know that. So, in my knowing that they're obligated to forgive me, then I can just come back into their life and act like nothing ever happened because they should have forgiven that debt. That debt is now absolved. That debt is no longer held against me. So I can act like I don't owe you an apology. I can act like I don't owe you an explanation. I can act like I don't owe you a conversation. Just receive me as I am. 2 in 1 body wash. But it doesn't work that way. See, my forgiveness of a person who has offended me is my responsibility. That's between me and God. It doesn't have anything to do with the person who offended me. If I want God to forgive me, I have to forgive them. It's also in the Lord's Prayer. When Jesus taught his disciples how to pray, he said, "Forgive us of our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us." If I want to be forgiven, I have to forgive. But there's one thing that people try to conflate, and that is reconciliation. And it's crazy to me. The irony of it is 1 minute this person is not obedient to God. They are a monster. They're not following God's way. They are a liar. They are whatever, manipulator, whatever you want to say about them. But then you are relying on them to actually do the right thing in forgiving you. And then you think that you can just slide in on their coattail, slide in on that forgiveness, and you don't have to do any of the work. Remember when I said earlier that I did all of the work and I made things easy for people? I make stuff easy for people. And that's one of the lessons that I've learned. This is a personal lesson that I've learned that whatever I give, I should be looking for reciprocation. Whatever energy that I give out, I should be looking for that reciprocation. Whatever intimacy I give out, I should be looking for that back. Now, you might be going, well, you're supposed to give without looking for a return. I understand that. But there are some people in this world who will abuse your giving heart. And if you do all of the work, they'll sit back and they'll just take all they can take. So reciprocity is a thing for me now. I'm not going to continue to give and not expect for something in return because then people become entitled. Whenever you give something and you're not expecting anything in return, people become entitled to what you give. And they forget you're doing this out of the kindness of your heart. You aren't doing this because of who they are. And here's the other thing. I'm doing this as a service to God, not because of who you are. So as a service to God, the kindness of my heart, not because of who you are. So forgiveness is not a two-in-one body wash. I'm going to show you how this real quick, and I'm going to be done. This is what reconciliation is. It says the meaning common to this word group is change or exchange. Change or exchange. So what that means, what that means is that in my relationship, whether that be with God or with a person, in this case with my friend, there should be something changing or there should be an exchange happening here. But nothing is changing and there is no exchange. It says reconciliation involves a change, watch this, in the relationship between God and man or man and man. It assumes there has been a breakdown in the relationship, but now these has been, but now there has been a change from a state of enmity and fragmentation to one of harmony and fellowship. How do you get there? How do you get from a place of enmity and fragmentation to a place of harmony and fellowship? By being honest, by being truthful. How do we reconcile with God? We come to Jesus being honest, being truthful. We don't just come to Jesus saying, Jesus, forgive me. We come to Jesus with the understanding of the truth of who we are. And we confess that to him. Jesus, I'm a sinner. I'm in need of a savior. I know who I am. I can't do this without you. There is an honesty and truthfulness when you come to Jesus that should also exist when there is a fragmentation between you and a brother or you and a sister. You cannot come to the table of reconciliation thinking that you're going to maintain the power dynamic in that relationship because that's what you enjoyed. Stop playing in people's face. And that's what it was. I realized that later that he was willing, what he wanted was to maintain the power dynamic. He did not want to maintain the relationship. It was what I was to him. It was what I was to him. It is not what he was to me. So he wanted to maintain the power dynamic, not the relationship. After that, he sent me a text the next day. And the text was, uh, it was so tone deaf. Tone deaf. It was so tone deaf. And it did not take into consideration everything that I had been through. And now, because he's been disrespected, he wants to put himself on the same level as me. It's like, dude, what happened to me was unfair because I attempted to do everything the right way. What happened to you was a lesson because you were prideful. I had a Joseph moment. You had a Nebuchadnezzar moment. But you think you had a Joseph moment? Because that's what he texted me. We both had a Joseph moment. No, we didn't. Joseph didn't do anything deserving of being thrown in a pit. Nebuchadnezzar did something that's deserving of having his throne taken away from him and going crazy for a season because he was prideful. Your pride did this to you because I told you from the jump what was happening. You didn't believe it. So when he sent me that text, I knew this relationship is officially over because you don't even respect me enough to give me what I've earned. I've earned it. And that is the recognition of how strong I was in that process and how I obeyed God, I submitted to God. You won't even give me that. You want to put yourself in the same vein, and you don't belong there. So forgiveness is my responsibility. But for us to reconcile, the both of us have to come to this table with honesty and truthfulness. And you cannot come to this table with deception, intending to manipulate somebody because you want to maintain a power dynamic, because you like how this person makes you feel. You're not coming to restore the relationship. You're coming to restore what you've lost. And that's it, y'all. That's all I got tonight. So that is The Church Tried to Kill Me, part 5. I'm done with it. I hope you all enjoyed this 5-part series. And if this is your first time here, please like this video, subscribe to this channel. And if you are returning, like this video. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video. All right, y'all have a good one.